Hey, welcome back to another video. Um, this time we're going to talk about modals and adverbs. You can find this information on page 93. Modal and adverbs. When we are not sure about the meaning of something, when we see something on the street, it can be a person, a situation, or maybe a sign on the street, we use modals. And the modals we use to express possibility are might, may, and could. These two, might and may, they are the same, they are synonyms. And as I said, these three here, they are modals. We can also use adverbs, and the adverbs we can use are maybe, perhaps, they are the same, possibly, and probably. And on the other hand, when we see something and we have evidence, or we are just sure that we know the meaning of that, whatever thing that we are seeing, we use the modal must or the adverb definitely. Okay, so now you may wonder, what is the difference between a modal and an adverb? So in this drawing here, we have on the left side, we have the modals, and on the right side, we have the adverbs. And we have this arrow here. On the top, we have this slight possibility. The slight means like a little chance. We have a little probability of something to happen. And here we have a strong possibility. And as I said, it's because we have our evidence or we are just pretty sure that we know it. Okay, modals. And we have might and may, could and must. Again, if we have little evidence or we are slightly sure about something, we're going to use might or may. If we are like 50% sure about what we are seeing is something that we know, we're going to use could. And when we have a strong possibility, like we have zero doubts about it, we are going to use must. On the right side, we have the adverbs, and we are going to be working with maybe and perhaps, probably for the 50% of probabilities, and definitely when we are like 90% sure about something. Okay, now what is the difference between modals and adverbs? As you can see, the verb that we are going to be working with, it's going to be mean. This is the verb that we are going to use in this topic. And whenever we use modals, might, may, could, and must, when we use these modals, we're going to use the verb mean in its base form. We're just going to use it as it is. And on the other hand, with adverbs, we are going to use the verb mean conjugated into its third person, which is having an S at the end. So again, I'm going to draw it here. If we are working with modals, the verb mean, it's going to be in its base form. But if we are using an adverb, we are going to use the verb conjugated into its third person by using an S. So that is the first difference, the first and the only difference. Okay, now what is the placing the placing of the modals and the adverbs. Um, as you can see, all the modals, the placement, the position of them goes after the subject. The subject that we are going to use, it's going to be always it. I'm going to change the color to blue. This is the subject that we are going to use all the time. Why it? Well, because as I said at the beginning, we are going to use this topic to talk about situations or gestures that we see a person doing. And the placement of the modals, it's going to be always after the subject, with only one exception. And that exception is going to be maybe and perhaps. Whenever we use the adverbs maybe and perhaps, we have to place it before the subject. Okay, so that's the only difference. Difference number one, if we are working with modals, we use the verb mean in its base form. When we use adverbs, we use the verb mean with the third person by adding an S. And difference number two is that the placement or the position of the adverbs or modals, it's going to be always after it, after the subject, with the exception, as I said, of maybe and perhaps. When we use maybe and perhaps, we use them before the subject. Okay, so now that we have this information, I'm going to show you one example, or some examples. You can find this picture on page 93. And we have six different pictures with people doing different gestures. And we have the possible meanings. Obviously, we always, or not always, we have seen people doing these gestures all the time, like we know what they mean. So the possible meanings here, I don't know, be quiet, call me, that sounds crazy, I can't hear you, and come here. They are not so possible because we know the answers, right? I mean, we can see this picture number 3, and we know that it means be quiet. Like when we were in school, our teachers or maybe our parents at home, they did this gesture to us, and we know that we had to be quiet. The same with number 5, for example. When you see a friend at a distance and you're saying goodbye, and he does this, you know that this means call me. Same with number 1. Let's suppose that you are trying to hear a conversation or just trying to hear someone at a distance, and you put your hand right next to your ear. You know, or you want to express that you cannot listen well. So we know that number 1 means I can't hear you. And going back to the modals and adverbs of possibility, logic says that we are going to work only with these two, must and definitely, because these two are used when we are pretty sure about what we are seeing. And, well, we are pretty sure about these pictures, right? We can see them and we know, like, for a fact that they mean certain things. What I'm trying to say is that in this example here, what do you think the first gesture means? First one, we have B. It probably means I can't hear you, right? Or expressed in another form, expressed by using an adverb, sorry, not an adverb, modal, we can say it might mean I can't hear you. I don't know why they are working with like a 50% probability, but we're gonna use that. We're gonna use could, the modal could, or the adverb probably. Okay, I'm gonna write next to the picture the rest of the images. Number 2, it probably means what? What is the what is the definition, or not the definition? What does it mean when a person goes like this? When he or she shrugs his shoulders? I don't know, right? It probably means he doesn't. We're gonna change everything. We're gonna change the subject, auxiliary, and verbs. He doesn't know. Or it might mean he doesn't know. Okay, we have probably, which is an adverb. Remember, if we are working with adverbs, like probably, we're going to use es, means. But if we are using a modal like might, we are not going to use the s on the verb. We are just going to use the base form. Okay, number 3. Now, we're not going to do number 3. We did that in the example. Number 6. Number 6, it probably means what? That sounds crazy, right? Or it might mean that sounds crazy. So this is how we use the adverbs and modals to express, as I said, to express the probability of knowing what you are seeing. In this case, people doing gestures. But we can use this topic for other things. For example, here we have a picture. We have a picture of a kid presenting or just maybe doing some exercises, and he has his hands on his head. And we have the question, what does it mean? What does it mean when a person has their hands on their head? Okay, so we are going to use modals and adverbs to express that. Let's see. Say that this person is in an exam. If he is in an exam and he is looking at it with no idea and with his hands on his head, we are pretty sure that it definitely sorry, I misspelled it. It definitely means he what? It definitely means he didn't study. That's my example. I'm pretty sure this guy didn't study, so that's why he's he has, I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't study because he has his hands on his head. He looks lost. Okay, but maybe some of you can think about other possible answers for this picture. Maybe, or perhaps, remember they are synonyms. Maybe it means he has a headache. Maybe it means he has a headache. So we have like the two possibility, strong possibility by saying it definitely means he didn't study, and we have a slight possibility using maybe. Maybe it means he has a headache. This here on the right side, they are adverbs. And on the left side, I'm gonna write the modals. And I'm gonna use may. It may mean, this is a slight possibility, may. It may mean he, I don't know, he is missing the final question. It's my example. Let's say that the exam has a 20 questions and he is just missing one. So it's a slight possibility. And the strong possibility, a possibility that everybody can agree, is by using must. It must mean he has no idea what he is reading, which is a synonym. It's like saying the same thing with definitely. It definitely means he didn't study, or it must mean he has no idea what he is reading. It's the same thing. He is lost. He didn't study. He doesn't know the answer. Okay. I'm gonna keep this video short because I don't want you to look at a 40 minutes long video and cover like 2 topics and have doubts in those 2 topics. So what I'm gonna do is just focus on one, and if you have questions about it, just let me know. This is going to be the final activity, and I'm gonna give you some homework. We have this picture, page 94, and we have different problems here. I'm always late for class. I'm often bored. I often argue with my friends. I'm always broke. Broke means when you don't have money. I'm often irritated with everybody at the office. I'm always exhausted at the end of the day. So we're going to use this example here. I'm always exhausted at the end of the day. And we are going to give ideas. We are going to try to explain by using modals and adverbs. We're going to explain the possible explanations for those problems. I'm always exhausted at the end of the day. It might mean you are not getting enough sleep. Another possible explanation, it could mean you are working too hard. Finally, that definitely means here the person is using the adverb definitely. So it's a strong possibility. He is pretty sure that this person is always exhausted at the end of the day because that definitely means you are going to get sick. So as you can see here, we go from a slight possibility using might, slight possibility, to a strong possibility using definitely. That definitely means you are going to get sick. We have 5 problems left. I'm going to help you with one of them so I can show you more examples of it. Let's say I'm always late for class. Okay. I am always late for class. This is the problem. Now we are going to try to find different explanations for it. Let's divide the explanations in modals and adverbs. Okay. It might mean he is always late for class. It might mean he doesn't sleep well. This is one possible explanation. This is a slight possibility, might. Now we're going to use an explanation with a strong possibility. It must mean he doesn't listen to his alarm. I don't know, that's my example. Now adverbs. Maybe we're gonna start with a slight possibility. Maybe it means he doesn't care much about the class. Now, strong possibility. It definitely means he studies and works. He studies and works at the same time. So this is the activity that you're going to do, and you're going to send it to my email. I'm going to leave the email on the description box. So you're going to find 2 different possible explanations with modals and adverbs for the rest of the problems here. Okay. Well, that's it. If you have any doubts about something from this video, you can send me a message on WhatsApp or just leave a comment below and I'll check it. Okay, guys, bye. See you.